Gift giving is my very favorite part of the festive season. That's why I'm so happy to be partnering once again with Silk to bring you another episode of our Made with Love series, because we believe that edible gifts are a delicious way to show your friends and family how much you care. Today, I'm going to show you 3 of my very favorite scone recipes, and they are the perfect hostess gift. Because come on, after throwing a party, who doesn't want to have breakfast already taken care of? I'm baking up my festive orange and cranberry scones, some super sweet maple walnut scones, and some savory olive and rosemary scones that are the perfect treat for breakfast. And once you're done watching this tasty video, you should definitely head over to my Instagram account where Silk and I are sharing a brand new edible gift recipe every single day until Christmas. Trust me, they're so delicious, you may not want to give them away at all. All right, let's get started with my orange cranberry scones. Orange and cranberries are 2 classic holiday flavors, which is why I think they make for such a beautiful scone. For these tasty scones, I'm going to get started by mixing up my dry ingredients. So I've got some all-purpose flour standing by in a bowl, and to that I'm going to add some baking powder for lift, some sugar, and a little salt. I'm going to whisk all of this together so it's really well combined. And then we are going to be adding some Silk Almond. I'm using Almond Original in this recipe. You could definitely use Unsweetened if you wanted to. You could also use creamy cashew, that would be delicious. I'm also going to be adding some vanilla extract because vanilla extract makes things taste delicious. And of course, we need the zest and juice of an orange. And the good news is your hands start to smell amazing. And we are going to juice it. I'm using a handy reamer for this. We're looking for about a 1/4 cup of freshly squeezed orange juice in these beautiful scones. We're going to finish this off with some beautiful dried cranberries and stir it all together. Using an ice cream scoop, I'm just gonna scoop my batter out onto a baking sheet, and then I'm going to bake these babies at 375 for between 14 and 16 minutes, or until they just become a little golden on top. And that's it. It's this easy, team. I love these scones best when they are served with a whole lot of butter. Next up, we're making my maple walnut scones. For this recipe, I'm going to start once again by mixing my dry ingredients. So I've got my flour, some baking powder, and some salt, because these babies need a little lift. And the baking powder goes a long way in that effect. For my wet ingredients, I'm going to once again be adding Silk Almond, a splash of vanilla extract, and in this recipe, I'm using maple syrup instead of sugar because come on, it both sweetens it and adds a ton of flavor. These also happen to be completely vegan. And once your dough is all mixed up, it's time just to add some walnut pieces. I'm going to mix all of this together until it's well combined, and then I'm going to scoop it onto a baking sheet and bake them at 375 once again for 14 to 16 minutes. Imagine waking up to these beauties on Christmas morning. Finally today, if you're not into sweets, I have a wonderfully savory treat for you. They're my olive and rosemary scones, and they are bursting with flavor. All right, team, once again, we are starting with our flour, and this time we've got our baking powder and our salt, but we're also adding some garlic powder to amp up the flavor of these beauties. Next, we are going to add our Silk Unsweetened Almond. I'm using Unsweetened in this recipe. In the other 2, I used the original. I've got some beautiful Kalamata olives I've given a rough chop to. I also have some finely chopped rosemary, which is just such a beautiful holiday flavor. If you want to make these scones extra delicious, I highly recommend adding a good helping of freshly grated Parmesan as well. I'm going to stir these all together, and once again, we'll just dole them out onto a baking sheet and bake them at 375 until they're nice and golden. Oh my gosh, you can smell the olives and the rosemary and the Parmesan. These are things dreams are made of. These beauties would be amazing served with scrambled eggs. I really hope you'll give these yummy recipes a try, and if you do, be sure to tweet or Instagram me a photo because you know I love seeing what you're coming up with in your very own kitchens. Speaking of Instagram, do not forget to follow me at the Domestic Geek 1 because Silk and I are sharing a brand new edible gift idea every day until Christmas. And finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from.